and welcome to the movie podcast reaction to the Super Mario Bros. Movie trailer. Guys, we're finally here. We're at a point now where we can stop complaining about we haven't seen enough footage. We haven't seen enough about the Super Mario Bros. Movie. The myth is no longer a myth. It is becoming a reality. We did recently also get a teaser trailer to the movie. And I think unanimously, at least from what I felt on the internet, people seem to really like it. Like it feel like it checked all the boxes, but there might have been one maybe that wasn't completely checked off. I think some people were kind of hovering on a certain box and they were like, I'm going to wait for one more trailer before I either check it or wreck it. I don't know if there's an opposite to check it.
Well, there's definitely the boxes. You know, Mario hasn't found that switch yet to make those boxes turn into blocks.
They're still like kind of like see-through. They're translucent a little bit. So
exactly.
We got to find that switch. That voice you're hearing right now alongside me is our Mario historian, is the most Italian person that we have on the show, Daniel. Daniel, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. You know, it is a pleasure to be here as the resident Mario and Italian experts, as there is no other expert on the show in Italian culture. As Mario is, I think, the pinnacle of Italian culture.
Absolutely. I believe he's the president of Italy, if I'm mistaken.
Yeah, he's the president, prime minister, king of pizza, king of
dictator.
Dictator.
He's everything.
He's everything. Like Mario to the Italian culture is second to Jesus.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay, wow. Well, that's big. The other voice you're hearing, obviously, is Anthony, who claims he's Italian, but for some reason, we don't know if he is. He hasn't shown anything Italian on the show.
You didn't see the tattoo on the back, the big Italian flag?
You have like the Ben Affleck Phoenix, but it's just a giant tattoo of a Italy flag.
I think it's King Koopa himself, Bowser, on the back.
He's got a shell. He's got a shell tattoo.
He's got a shell tattoo on the back. That'd be a pretty cool tattoo, though. It'd be weird, but I'd want to see it, though.
Yeah.
I take it back. Don't get that tattoo. Don't do it.
I'm going to be honest, Daniel. I'm sure if we Google it right after this episode's done, there will be millions, if not billions, of people that have that tattoo.
Here's the thing. If we, if we start making some serious coins on the movie podcast,
is this a bet right now or a statement?
Okay, I don't want to say a bet. Well, okay, it's something. There could be a Mario tattoo involved. Maybe we'll see one day.
On you?
We'll see.
Wait, do we all have to get a Mario tattoo?
No, we don't all have to get it.
Oh,
maybe on me.
Can you put it on your belly button like it's Mario's face, but his mouth is your belly button, and the hat?
Right.
That's
a great idea.
And then the mustache should be like maybe a little bit of your stomach hair.
I got you.
Yeah. Weird tattoo. Daniel, I think that
Anthony was ready for that too.
Yeah, Anthony was like, I've been waiting to talk about this tattoo idea for years. Daniel, I think the hat that you're wearing right now, and obviously you're watching this right now on YouTube because you're probably subscribed to us. You're probably following us on Twitter, TikTok, Letterboxd, Instagram, everywhere, because we are the movie podcast everywhere you go. We drop new episodes all the time, but right now, this is all about our reaction. This is all about the rawness of what we just saw. Daniel, the hat you're wearing right now, it is purely Mario themed. I believe you stole that from a child, right?
I did. You know, I saw this when I was around Super Mario World. So I did go to Japan without you guys during the pandemic as well.
Bummer.
And I did steal. This is actually an amalgamation of a bunch of different hats from children that I've sold and compiled into one hat.
Oh,
so
you're the hat thief that I kept hearing about.
I'm the hat thief. Yeah. Exactly. No, but I like that we're all wearing hats. None of us are wearing we should have all came in with like, oh, I have a Mario hat. One has a Luigi hat. One of us has a Waluigi hat or Wario hat. But maybe for our review of it,
Anthony looks like a Waluigi.
No, man.
Definitely,
I'm a Luigi. I'm Luigi. I'm not an evil.
You're evil though. You are evil though.
You're a little evil.
Yeah, I don't have the mustache or the eyebrows or the nose or the chin or the teeth.
I'm like a Wario. I'll be your Wario to your Waluigi. We're both Libras. That's something we got to do it, right?
But we could be Mario and Luigi. Why do we have to be like the bad guys?
Because
everybody's Mario and Luigi, though, you know?
Everyone's Mario and Luigi. Yeah, who is trend-setting Waluigi and Wario? That's the real question.
Exactly. You know what? That'd be a great like podcast costume if you guys go Wario and Waluigi, and then instead of me being like Mario and Luigi, I'll be like Bowser or something like that.
And we're all just.
I think that'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll go as the villains. You know, I think that'd be a lot of fun.
This movie's coming out next year. that means Halloween of next year. Already Mario is a pretty, common Halloween costume.
It is,
but I feel
yeah.
like it's going to only increase tenfold.
Yeah, I mean, I think what this film is doing, and I think right off the bat, I know we're going to go into it, but everything we've seen from this movie, Nintendo is doing right. And I mean that in the sense that Nintendo and Universal and Illumination, that they're making it a big deal. They're making these trailers a big deal. They're making the cast reveal a big deal. We got the cast reveal last year. That was in a Nintendo Direct. Then we got the first teaser as a Nintendo Direct. And now the second teaser as a Nintendo Direct. So they know how to build the anticipation for this. They know Mario is the most popular video game character in the world. And they are giving him a presentation. They were presenting this as like, hey, this is our big coming out party. We know nobody liked what that movie was in the 90s with the live action, and we're doing this right. We're doing this from what we've always wanted to do in a film. And I think just the treatment of how these trailers have been coming out before we even talk about it, I think is something that's been really really special, because we're getting millions of people watching and reacting at one time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, the presentation, I think not even just that, but the posters, the promotional art they've been doing for this movie is way better than I could have imagined. The amount of care being put into this feels more of a Nintendo product than it does an Illumination product. And that's no knock to Illumination. I think they're fantastic as well. It's just the polish that Nintendo brings, the care that they bring to their characters is very clear and evident in this. Like I'm looking at the poster right now that we got when the first teaser trailer dropped, and it's perfect. Like I don't have a single note for it. You don't even have the title of the movie on there because you don't need it. And then you have the one that just dropped, I think yesterday, with announcing this trailer, and it's just inside the castle. Again, no title, not necessary. You have everything there for you just to kind of go off of that. But yeah, let's jump into this trailer. Let's talk about how awesome it was. Daniel, please kick us off with your thoughts.
I think there was a lot of question mark blocks going into this. There was a lot of questions of, okay, we got a little taste, we got a little teaser, we got a little hint of what Chris Pratt is going to sound like as Mario. And what I loved so much about what this trailer did is that, okay, let's really show it off now. Let's show the world why Mario is who we all love him to be. But I also love that, the first trailer really didn't make it feel like a video game movie. It just felt like, oh, this is within the world of Mario, where this trailer 2 is doubling down on all of the video game references. We're getting Super Smash Brothers. It looks like Mario and Donkey Kong are going to fight, and it's on a 2D platform. So I'm like, this is straight out of Smash Brothers. We're getting the Mario Kart Mad Max style sequence where they're racing. We're getting everything that we know and love from the video games, the iconic characters and moments from games. And we're getting that, and I love that. And then we're also getting that looks like a training sequence in the Mushroom Kingdom by Peach's Castle, where we're seeing the actual items from the video game. It kind of looks like a Mario Maker stage on top, and you see like the falling platforms and everything like that. Like there's so much attention to detail in this. I cannot wait to go frame by frame and just look for everything. And again, seeing Donkey Kong, I think, was the big highlight in this trailer. Seeing Peach and hearing Anya Taylor-Joy, and this was a big moment for me. This is all looking incredible. It's sounding great, and this looks better than I could have possibly imagined to, because this was always a big question mark of a movie for the last year. And I think from that first teaser, now seeing this, I'm like, this is my most anticipated movie next year. And it's coming out the month of my birth, so even better.
It's like it was designed for you. Anthony, what about yourself? As an Italian, how do you feel? Do you feel represented?
Well, I don't know yet. We have to see how good he is with a wrench. So, truthfully, the illumination animation is what kind of stood out for me, because it's we know it's animated, it's 3D, but there's almost like 2D characteristics to the animation that I have never seen in a 3D animation before, especially with the facial animations and how their bodies move. It feels a lot like someone drew it rather than actually 3D drew it. It's like this weird combination of both. And a lot of the Mario characteristics you'll probably see on his face resemble what he usually does before he dies in the video game, which is really, really cool. So there is a lot of attention to detail. If you're a fan of the Mario games, you're going to see those things like, oh, that's in Mario, that's in Mario. Even there's a picture of the Super Mario Brothers, or I guess Mario Brothers truck that was released by Universal, and it has that old style looking Mario that we're so familiar with. But it's just, Illumination is just based off the trailers, have done a great job taking everything that we love about Mario and Luigi and Peach and Bowser and putting them all into this movie, which is fantastic. Daniel, you mentioned the obstacle course, so it seems like Peach is kind of like the trainer for Mario, because Mario's kind of been sucked into this world, and Peach is like, well, let me show you the ropes. And I think that's where it's going, which is different because Peach was always the damsel in distress. Now she's in a bodysuit, she has like a friggin' staff, she's doing all these things. So it's pretty cool to see these characters on the big screen being who they are, what we know of, and just having a really cool video game animation movie, which is that's what we're getting right now.
It's what we've wanted, right? We wanted a video game movie to really adapt itself correctly. And I think that's something that Nintendo and Illumination they're going up against as well. They're going up against a history of video game movies not really committing to their source material. Was it last year, or year before that? I think it was last year where we got the Mortal Kombat movie. And like I don't think it was polarizing, but I do think that there are people that were like, yeah, it's Mortal Kombat, and there's people who are like, no, it's still a bad movie. But Mortal Kombat, at the end of the day, is not, it doesn't take itself seriously. It's wacky as it is. So for me, I enjoyed that movie because it committed to what it was. Were there issues? Were there things you need to improve on? Absolutely. For this, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this seems like a fever dream because it doesn't seem possible. How are you nailing it? Like, how does everything look like it's supposed to look? Like, I don't have a single critique really. And if I do, it's very minor, and I know we're gonna get to that in a second, but everything looks so friggin' cool. The coloring, and Anthony, you brought up the way the animation looks. You're right. There's something distinct about it where it feels like there's so much detail being put behind it that we're not used to, and it looks great. Mario looks like he's young and old at the same time, which I love as well. Like, he's kind of like ambiguously aged. Like, maybe he's 30,
definitely.
Maybe he's 50, who knows? But then you have Luigi, who's just Charlie Day. Is what beautiful casting that is, because man, when I think of Luigi now, that's all I'm ever going to see. He's fantastic. Anya Taylor-Joy, amazing as well, and Jack Black also. Now let's get to Chris Pratt. I know a lot of the things that people were discussing about with the first trailer was, okay, in a Daniel, one of the things you brought up as well was that last line, Mushroom Kingdom, here we go. Like, that part never really felt like, it was actually that scene. It kind of just felt like they took audio from somewhere else, put it on that. Now that we're kind of getting some more dialogue, I want to ask you guys, I'll start off with Anthony. What do you think? Like, what do you think about Chris Pratt's voice here? Like, do you think it's where it needs to be, or is it just Chris Pratt?
It's Chris Pratt, but there is different mannerisms to that voice that you hear in this trailer. We still haven't heard a full-on sentence or a conversation, so I can't really say, what we are hearing is an exact replication of Chris Pratt just being Chris Pratt. I do hear, an accent, especially in the beginning and at the end of this trailer. Then there are no accents throughout. I'm still curious and even with Luigi, does he have an accent or is it just Charlie Day? I'm just curious to actually hear how he sounds. I think he's going to have like this Brooklyn accent. It seems like he's coming from, his city, and it resembles Brooklyn. It has the Brooklyn Bridge in the back. So he's a plumber. He's going to have some sort of like, hey, oh, what are you doing here? Hey.
Hey, where your pipes?
Yeah, where your pipes? But I'm over the Chris Pratt voice thing. I'm just
good.
What the trailer kind of pushed me past that hurdle, because everything I've seen just looks so fantastic. I don't care if Mario even talks. Truthfully,
yeah.
what we're getting is exactly what I imagined a video game movie should be, and yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this voice. I think Peach sounds great.
Yeah, Anya Taylor-Joy does sound really good.
Yeah.
Now, Daniel, we ended off this trailer with that infamous woohoo. What did that feel like for you?
It felt great hearing that, because it made me think that, okay, we're going to be getting some of the classic Mario sounding dialogue, which is great.
And effects, because right before that you hear that bling.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing, right? I think when we think about video games, there is no video game that has, I think, as iconic sound and music and effects as Mario and just Nintendo as a whole. So I think we're definitely going to get that. And the fact that we're seeing like Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, we saw the world map, I think in Peach's Castle, if you guys kind of saw that, there was like, oh, there's like the desert lands and here's this and here's Bowser's Castle. So like you see the attention to detail to everything. But yeah, I think Chris Pratt, I mean, I want to hear how he sounds talking in a full sentence, as, Anthony said. But they really are giving the spotlight to the other voice actors or the other actors in this trailer, especially with Anya Taylor-Joy getting a lot more dialogue, or we didn't even see her last time. But seeing her in that bodysuit was so cool, and doing that flip with the axe was awesome, and then Toad kind of flipping the pan. But yeah, it makes me so happy. Like I'm going through this trailer right now, and I'm just seeing these worlds that like we grew up loving, and it's so cool to see. It's so surreal to see that. And seeing Mario standing next to Peach, Mario looks like he's a lot taller now. Like again, he could be closer to the camera, but Mario just figure wise, he's so proportionately so different from what Peach looks like, and it's so funny to see that in the trailer. Like if you go back and watch like that training sequence, like you see them standing next to each other, I'm like, this is so interesting. But yeah, I mean, this looks so much fun. Like, and I think at the end of the day, it comes down to, let's do something that's fun, let's do something that looks incredible, let's honor this 40-year legacy of games, and just make a good movie. And we're seeing like the Tanooki suit, we're seeing the fire flowers. There's this moment in the trailer where you're just seeing Peach looking up to the sky, and they're surrounded by fields of fire flowers, and I'm like, this looks beautiful. Like this looks like an animated film like I've never seen before. And this is just so exciting as a fan of Mario to finally be getting something that is worthy of the greatest video game character ever made.
I wanted to mention the Coliseum in the beginning of the trailer, Donkey Kong's Coliseum, and how much detail that goes into it. It just reminded me of like Gladiator and Mario going into battle, and yes, Super Smash Brothers, and we really don't know what powers,
and Rainbow Road.
Yeah, and we don't in Rainbow Road. We don't really know what powers he has. We saw him with the Tanooki suit, but does he get mushrooms to make himself bigger? Is there star power? We saw fire flowers, and Peach is wielding fire flower. So how does that work? Like this, I'm so excited to see how they incorporate those powers into Mario, and how he incorporates them into this movie. I'm just, man, everything looks exciting. I think Luigi's mustache is the most detailed mustache I've ever seen. And it's crazy, like animation now, and I've just been slowly seeing it. They've been working on facial beards. I've never seen so much facial beards in animation than now, because they've got that down pat.
Hair is always the hardest thing, right?
Yeah, and you can literally see like each little bush or strand of hair in Luigi's.
It started with Sully in Monsters Inc.
Yeah,
and it's carried over from there.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Like there's so much that looks good about this. I think you kind of get like a little bit of a reference to like maybe Mario Galaxy with the way that they're seeing the different worlds, like
and there was a Galaxy drop too, right? Like,
there was,
Peach says Galaxy in it, right?
Yes.
I was like, oh.
Yeah, there's so much this trailer seems to be kind of doing right, and I mean, we're not too far from the film, luckily, and I'm sure we're gonna get a couple more trailers and teaser spots and everything, more information. I'm curious as to where this is gonna go. Anthony, one of the things that before we started recording, you kind of brought up was, are we going to see references to anything else in the Nintendo IP? Like, would we see a Link reference or anything like that? Because we are getting Mario Kart, we are kind of getting Smash Bros here. Are we too far off from those worlds? I think personally, we're not there yet, but I do anticipate references or maybe symbols or just something that kind of like you look back at the first or second Iron Man movie with Captain America's shield, things like that.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think there'll be references to characters that we don't expect to be in this movie right away, like the evil Luigi, evil Mario, and Waluigi, and all the characters that are part of the the Nintendo universe. Because I think if this does well, we could see a Link movie. We could see a Zelda film in this state. And I think live action doesn't work for this stuff. I think animation is the way to go when it comes to video games. This is how you do it. This is how it works. Just keep doing this. Do not get away from live action, stick with the 3D animation, because you have a number amount of things and environments that you can create without having to worry about it in a live action film. It just works. And I think Zelda would be beautiful on a big screen.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about making it too realistic, right? Like that was one of the things that I think people kind of get stuck behind when they're trying to make a video game adaptation. You don't even look too far. You can look at Assassin's Creed where they stuck 90% of the film in present day and then only went back to the past like for a bit of the film, which was a huge mistake. You can do that with this. You can with animation, you have this ability to just create the world and suspend that disbelief. And honestly, the Super Mario Bros. They need that. They need that the suspension of disbelief because you're going through pipes, you're fighting giant turtle-looking creatures. There's a lot out there that you can't do in live action because even though they've tried before, that wasn't their best attempt. This really is where you got to stick it. Cool.
I think.
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. No, I was going to say, go like just on that, like getting a Legend of Zelda movie would be absolutely amazing. And I'm hoping that Nintendo, like we know a Donkey Kong movie is in the works. We know that's coming already. Seth Rogen's coming back, and he's dedicating. I think the film's dedicated to Anthony as well. But the fact that we're getting a Donkey Kong movie, we may not be that far off from getting some type of Smash Brothers movie or introducing all these characters into one movie and having a big battle. Like that could be something that they may start the building blocks, right? If you look at Iron Man in 2008, I don't think anyone would have anticipated Endgame 10 years later or 11 years later, right? So this is the beginning of that. This is that first, that's this first block that we're taking a step on to a grander galaxy, to a grander universe of characters and movies within the world of Nintendo. And who knows who we'll see, right? Nintendo characters have always been not going for like the realistic looks, right? Like they're very much stylized, so they work within the realm of animation where I think live action wouldn't be for them, as we've seen, with the 1993 movie. But
I haven't actually fully watched it. I haven't fully watched that film.
We got to watch it, Shahbaz. We got to watch it like Mario would watch it with with some mushrooms and some other power ups.
Oh my goodness! I think what we should do is we should definitely watch it, do a commentary on it before the release of this one on April 7th.
That would be a fun, a fun commentary to drop before the movie. But the hard thing with that is that there's no like wait really to watch this movie.
It's a tough movie to find.
You got to find it. You have to, like, Nintendo has done a. So here's the thing: I think Nintendo like owns the rights to this film, so they are like lock and key. They don't want ever like to for it to be out there. I remember watching it all the time on TV. So it's like you see how protective Nintendo is of their characters. Nintendo bought porn parodies of Mario, and I think they tried to bury this big blockbuster of a Mario too. So they're very protective of the Mario character, of course.
It's such a cult classic though. Like even though it's not the Mario that we wanted from the 90s, I still think it's good for what we had, and just to like the amount of work that went into it, and just learning about John Leguizamo and
Bob Hoskins,
and then you have Dennis Hopper.
Just the amount of work they had to go through, and the troubles and the over budget, and just for it bombing. I think it just itself is like a masterpiece in its own way. But
it really is something.
Like, what did you expect from that time period for a Mario Brothers movie? Like, it would never work. And even if you tried to do a live action now, it would never work because it works in a 3D world. Like, that's how it works. That's animation is the way to go.
Yeah. No, you guys said it. Is there anything else you guys want to touch on before we kind of wrap up here about this Mario Bros. Trailer? Because there's so much that kind of happened to it. I know that we want to pick it apart frame by frame as well. But like, if anything, the first trailer for me was amazing, and it really kind of made me feel at ease. Like, okay, this looks like we're in the right hands. The posters are killing it. This trailer, not that I was uneasy at all, but I was like, okay, now I'm like totally calm. If anything, I'm so excited. I can't wait to watch this movie. And that is a troubling thing when you have something, well, not a troubling thing, but that's something that's not so common when you have a beloved IP like Mario and you have a movie coming out from it.
Yeah.
I'm curious who's composing it. I just want to know who's going to.
Brian Tyler is going to be the composer.
Very cool. Very cool.
It sounds good. The score sounds great.
And
it's very sweeping orchestral score of like I'm just happy to have a legal way of listening to Mario music. We're at Nintendo Music, right? Like this is going to be released on streaming platforms. For some reason, Nintendo does not have any of their scores.
You don't like the geek music version of every possible
no, I like it, and that's the thing, right?
Score?
Like the only really legal way I've listened to Mario music is when I would get like the collector's editions of their game, and it would be like, oh, it came with the orchestral, like with my Galaxy, Mario Galaxy,
right?
Came and or the My Nintendo, like being a My Nintendo member, you could trade your coins in for CDs, and it's like hopefully now they'll release these soundtracks officially, but you know this looks and it's going to sound awesome as well.
And we all have CD players nowadays too, so that's very useful.
Yeah. Yes, definitely.
Well, again, the Super Mario Bros. Movie does come out in theaters April 7th, 2023. We're super excited for it. It's from Illumination Universal Pictures. We're definitely going to have our review up for it before the movie comes out, so we can't wait to talk more about it. And I'm sure once another trailer drops, we're probably going to conjugate again like this. We'll what's like a very like Mario way of calling somebody? I guess there's no like bat signal. Maybe we'll all jump into our pipes and reach here to record.
I think we just got to steal a princess and everyone will come to us, right?
Ah, yes. We'll be on the news too. That's great. I love it.
There we go.
Well, this is pretty much all that we have for today in our reaction for the Super Mario Bros. Trailer. Again, you can follow us at The Movie Podcast on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and Letterboxd. Make sure you're subscribed to us on YouTube. Leave a comment down below of what you thought about the trailer as well. Did we miss anything? Was there a moment that you were like, why didn't these guys touch upon it? Like, these guys are all wearing backwards hats and they didn't talk about Mario's hat. They're stupid. We're not going to talk about it because we want you to talk about it. Leave that comment. Leave a 5-star review as well if you can on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Make sure you're subscribed to us. That was This Time with the Movie Podcast, and we will see you next.